welcome to a new video. I got married. I feel like there are so many things we need to catch up on. There have been so many changes in my life recently. As you can see from my background, we're no longer in the cutesy pink room that I used to be in because I moved to a whole new country. So not only did I get married, but I made my move to the UK, specifically Manchester. I actually had my nikkah / wedding here in the UK. It turned out so beautiful, you guys. It was better than I expected, considering the fact that I planned this wedding from the US. Like, I never saw the decorations, the makeup artist, any of it until like 2 weeks before my wedding. But guys, it was magical. When I walked down the aisle on my wedding day, my mouth actually dropped. I was so blown away by how all the decorations, everything that I had envisioned came out perfectly how I wanted it to, or even better. And I could sit here and talk about my wedding forever. I really want to make a video where I kind of go into the specific details, the whole preparation and how my wedding turned out, because I feel like it would be very helpful. I had filmed my moving process from the US to the UK, and basically what happened is I lost my memory card. It's been so long since this has happened, but I still can't get over it, and I don't think I ever will. Genuinely, I've cried my tears. I've told myself it's okay. I've convinced myself that I'm somehow going to find it. I don't know how, but I just can't get over it. When you lose something like a memory card, you're never gonna get those back. Like, nothing will replace those. And they were such important moments of my life, like my moving process, getting my wedding dress. Every time I remember something else that I had filmed, it hits me all over again. But speaking of my moving process, I've lived in the same place pretty much my whole life. First time I've ever had to move. It's not just like packing to move from your childhood home to like another house with your husband, where you could just pack up the car as many times as you want, go back and forth, do a few trips. No, moving the stuff from one country to another was like 10 times the stress, because it's all about weight, and then there's specific rules about what you can put and what you can't put in the boxes. So there were so many things I had to make sure I followed, and then I had to downsize so many of my things. I feel like so much has been happening in terms of my transition here. Obviously, coming from Florida to the UK is very different, and I'm sure like as soon as someone hears that, they just think like the weather difference. The temperature is like a 180. But I'm not mad at it, because as someone who's lived in a hot area their whole life, I'm grateful to be able to wear like a coat and get into like the hijabi winter outfits. We're back after a little bit of a commercial break because my camera died. The things that were very different to me when we first got here was obviously UK is a lot smaller than like US, so everything is, I feel like, crowded. The streets are smaller, even the parking, the way that the cars park, it was so different. Like, it's like completely different grocery stores, all these things. But the thing I loved the most was landing and seeing the Muslim community that's here, because in the US, specifically the area I was living in, it has such a small Muslim community, and if you see like a Muslim, you'll probably recognize who they are. Everyone knows everyone, and if you go to a grocery store and you see like a hijabi, you're like so excited, because it's like, this is not the usual thing. Seeing another Muslim is so rare that you get so excited when you see one. And it's like you're waving to each other, you're saying Assalamu alaikum, and it's such a crazy experience. Whereas here, they're everywhere, and I love it. And it's such a nice, fulfilling feeling going from not being surrounded by that many Muslims to being in an area where there's so many Muslims around you. And also the hijabis here. Who needs Pinterest when you have all these hijabis walking around the streets with the cutest outfits? It just feels so nice to be in an environment like that. So that's one thing I absolutely love about being here. So much has been going on, from like our honeymoon to moving into our flat, which I'm really excited to be filming decorating videos with you guys. That's something I've always wanted in terms of like getting my own place, is being able to like put all these things together and make it feel like home. We actually picked this place while I was in the US, so we would do the viewing through FaceTime. We went through so many viewings, because I know some people's priorities when choosing a home was like, oh, lighting, the amount of space, or whatever. My priority was the place that we were staying at had to allow pets. Because I can't live without a cat in my life. And that brings me to the topic. If you guys have been watching my videos before, you know I had a cat in Florida called Mumu. my pride and joy, my son, my cuteness. I absolutely love him. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring him with me to the UK. It was so hard, you guys. I cried about it a lot. I just felt like it would be selfish though to make him go through that whole move because of a change that I decided to make. He's very comfortable in like my family home, and I just didn't want him to go through this whole like moving process. I felt like it would be so traumatizing putting him like in a plane. Even humans find it uncomfortable. I get ear pressure pains all the time. It's super loud in a plane. Cats are super sensitive to sound. It might be dramatic to others, but he's my baby. I couldn't put him through that. And he's living very happily with my family in Florida. They're looking after him very well. I know I left him in very good hands, but that being said, ain't no way a cat lover like me can live life without a cat in her house. So you bet I wasted no time getting a cat. And not only that, but I got two. And their names are Lentil and Spaghetti. They're named after my husband and I's favorite foods. So lentil is my husband's and spaghetti is one of my favorite foods. They're just the sweetest, cutest little babies. They're brother and sister, and they're polar opposites in terms of their personality. They're so entertaining. I'm gonna show you guys Spaghetti. Spaghetti, he is a very clever and confident little baby. This is my little baby Spaghetti. He was taking a nap. He looks like Mumu, but he's a lot fluffier because he's half Siberian. Spaghetti is a very spicy boy. Oh, he's biting me. See what I mean, you guys? His sister wouldn't just randomly do that. She's so patient. Spaghetti, say hello. He doesn't want to say hello. And then I want to show you guys Lentil as well. This is Lentil. She actually looks like a lentil. She's so much smaller than him, and they're the same age, but she's just a little baby princess. You guys will be seeing them a lot in my videos. They have definitely been keeping me company, and they've been helping me a lot with my transition here in the UK, because obviously with moving to the UK, all my family is in Florida, so it's really nice to have them around, and they definitely keep me busy, especially Mr. Spaghetti there. He'll keep you on your toes, that's for sure. So with adjusting to the UK, I absolutely love living in Manchester, and I love that the city has such good public transportation, because in Florida that was non-existent. Because if you don't have a car there, you're gonna be struggling. You're pretty much dependent on a car to get around. And I've been driving for like 10 plus years in the US, but moving here, I have to get my UK license. Guys, don't get me wrong, being able to move and have like this new clean slate and start all over again is amazing most of the time, but when it comes to like the actual parts when you're doing them, like the fact that I have to take my driver's license again, it's just so long. Like, that's something I was doing when I was 15, 16, and now I have to go through it all over again. So I started taking driving lessons, which I've never had to do in the US. You pretty much just learn with your family members, because your driving test is in a parking lot. You don't go onto the main street. It's so easy to pass this thing. I remember learning with my dad, Allah yarhamu. He taught me how to drive, and I passed it on the first go, but it's like, you're in a parking lot, you don't leave, just park your car, stop at the stop sign, check your mirrors, and you're good to go. You got your driver's license. Whereas here, my husband was telling me that you have to take driving lessons so that you know what's on the exam, because there's so many points that can be taken off and all this stuff. So manual is pretty common, and I was like, you know what, let me learn something new. I'm gonna learn manual. Guys, I took one lesson. I was like, this is not for me. That lesson made me feel like I've never driven a day in my life. I've been driving over 10 years. It was such a humbling driving lesson, because I was getting used to the fact that I have a driving instructor, and then I have to drive on the opposite side of the road, and the streets here are so tiny. I'm just trying to convince myself as to why I decided not to continue with manual. I feel like it's really hard to go from driving automatic to manual. Manual requires so many steps. And in my head, driving automatic, I'm thinking, why do we need all that? There should just be a gas pedal, brake pedal, and call it a day. So I switched to automatic so quick. So that's what I've been kind of doing. I've actually been learning how to cook, because when I was living with my mom, you guys, bless our moms, she would always have food ready by the time you get home from work or school or whatever it may be. And now that I'm living on my own and I have to make meals for myself as a wifey, it's been fun though. I've been enjoying it. And once you get the hang of it, just like knowing what spices go with what spices and learning how to like cut the vegetables and stuff, with all this social media like TikTok and YouTube, especially TikTok, I save a lot of my recipes from from there. And because they're short form videos, you just like quickly watch the video, save it, and you could really quickly play it while you're trying to make the meal. Obviously not to say it's been an easy process because I've made some questionable things, but I've also made some nice meals. So enough of me rambling. I think we've caught up. I can't wait to take you guys on this journey with me through my transition into a whole new country and a different lifestyle. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!